guys, it's time to reveal what my fourth best palette of 2022 is, and I somehow overslept this morning, so I have about another 30 minutes to finish my makeup. So this is going to be pretty quick, but the palette that for me ended up being the fourth best palette of the year is a palette that I have just reached for a lot, and that is why it's ended up so high. It has nothing, well, it kind of has something to do with the color story, but personally, this isn't something that I would consider my favorite color story, but because I've used it so many times, I just had to put it up high, and this is the Nearly Natural palette from Glaminatrix. You guys have seen me talk about this so many times. It's a very neutral palette, but I don't know, there's something about this palette and this color story that's just made me want to use it a ton. So I'm gonna do a look with it today. Like I said, I'm kind of in a hurry, so I think I'm just gonna do my signature kind of big wing for hooded eyes kind of look and keep it very simple because I don't want to fuss too much with my eyeshadow and do too much blending today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prime with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base, and I should be able to easily do this within the time, but I'm one of those people who I hate being rushed in the morning. It's just the absolute worst. So when I realized that I had set the alarm incorrectly, I was freaking out a little bit because I was like, shit. Like now everything else this morning has to go so much quicker, and I hate that. So just gonna go ahead and get ready for eyeshadow here and make sure I blend it out in the very outer corner because I am gonna do a big wing. I can leave my in-depth tutorial on how to do that up in the corner because I actually do have a video on this now. I'm gonna start by taking an angled brush, and I'm gonna use the shade called Naturally, which is this one. And honestly, in the pan, it looks very much like a dark, deep brown, but it almost has a bit of a purpley undertone to it. So I'm gonna use that as my wing. I'm just gonna kind of get the shape down here. And thank you to the rest of you who commented on my fifth best palette of the year and told me what your favorites were, because there were a lot of those palettes that I'd kind of been eyeing, but I either just didn't have time to commit to another review, or I just wasn't interested enough in buying them. But now that I've heard so many of you guys say you like the same palettes, it's definitely made me go, maybe I need to focus a little bit more on this brand next year, because there are some brands that I just haven't tried yet, and one of them was definitely Gloss Gods. So many of you said that you've really been enjoying their palettes, and I was like, you know what, I haven't even tried the brand. So it's been on my radar for a long time, and I don't know why I haven't bought a palette from them, but next year is definitely going to be the year, because I mean, they do have a ton of all shimmer palettes that are absolutely beautiful that I would love to try out. But it's also, I don't know, the thought of like starting with another new brand to review, it's like, it's a lot, you know, but I really do want to try them. And I feel like if there's one brand that I will commit to trying next year, it's probably going to be Gloss Gods, because I just feel like their formula is going to be right up my alley. And I feel like these wings are already uneven, but it's fine. I'm gonna make it work because that is what I do. I feel like maybe it was a sign that I kind of overslept today and that this was the palette that I was going to be using, because honestly, a neutral palette is probably the palette that I would rather be stuck with if I am kind of in a hurry, because at least there's not that much thinking to be done. I think this is about as even as it is going to get. So I think just for the rest of my lid, I am gonna go in with just a bit more of this matte and kind of finesse it after, but I'm first gonna put on some glitter primer. Like I said, this is gonna be a super simple look because it's simply all I got time for. And I do wanna have time to do lashes because I can't help myself. Oh, the struggle is real. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that glitter primer pretty much all over my lid here. And I think I'm just gonna use, God, the shimmers in this palette are so stunning. It's one of the things I love the most about it. Maybe I'll use two of them. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this one and this one. I'm gonna start with this shade, which is called Raw. I'm just gonna take that in the middle of my lid and blend it into that dark matte. And then for the front portion, I'm gonna take the shade which is called Unveil. This one is also just so beautiful. I'm just gonna quickly go back and forth between these colors, make sure that I have a good blend, and then I'm just gonna pop on some lashes and call it a day. And I think that's gonna be it for this look, because it's really just all I have time for. I just wanted something super simple and quick. Okay, maybe I lied. Because I've only been filming for 13 minutes, which I'm doing okay on time. I'm gonna do a couple of rhinestones because it's Christmas and because I can, so I'm gonna put one right here. I'm just using a lash glue pen to do this with, and then I'm gonna pick up my rhinestone and just put that right on top. I'm pretty sure those are not even at all, so I'm gonna do another one. And I'm gonna just do that right in my inner corner. I really like this placement. I think it just looks so fun. Okay, at least those two are even. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish off. Alright, so this is the final look. Sorry if you can still see some lash glue drying, but I'm proud of myself. I did this very quickly. I've only been filming for 23 minutes, so I would say that is a success. So yeah, this palette is just so good. There's something about this palette that makes me want to use it over and over and over again, and I think it's mostly because of the mattes, if I'm being honest. I really like the shimmers in here, but like I've said many times before, I definitely prefer neutral mattes over neutral shimmers, so I do tend to use this palette along with other shimmers in my collection. This for me is definitely more of a companion palette, but I still felt like I can't see these yearly rankings as just ranking them based on standalone palettes, because that's simply just not how I do my makeup when I'm not filming. And so I have to take into account how many times I've actually used these palettes, even if it's not on their own, because I've used this so many times. Like, it's amazing how many times I've used this, and I keep reaching for it. And I feel like for me, this is like my perfect neutral palette. Like, I really enjoy it. I think it's so good. If you guys don't have it already, if it's still available, it should be still available. It might be on pre-order though, so it might not be able to ship right away. But if you're interested in this palette, I would highly recommend it. I think it's definitely worth the wait, and I'm so excited to see what Glaminatrix does next year, because I feel like they're just going to kill it. Like, they keep getting better, and if they come out with stuff like this, they're gonna end up in the top of my rankings next year too. I know that for sure. So that's gonna be it for today. Let me know if you were surprised. Also, let me know what your 4th best palette of the year was if you're playing along with the ranking. If not, just let me know what your favorite palettes of the year are. If you want to see some other ranking videos, I do have a playlist. I will put that right there. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.